What's the deal? What's the deal? It's your favorite Uncle Spooty, aka the neighborhood supporter. And unfortunately, my co-host couldn't be here today, but we have two wonderful special guests here today representing Detroit, aka the comeback city. Leaders in the men's movement. On OWN's own, um, Love and Marriage, Detroit. We got Russell Harris and Brandon Smith. If you're not clapping, doing some finger snaps, you should be doing something out there. Welcome, y'all. How y'all feeling today?
What up, though? How's it going?
What up?
If you don't know, if you're from Detroit, you know what up, though. You got to be from the D to do that. So, with the season wrapped up, you guys, a whole season of putting your lives on the World Wide Web, TV. How does it feel to be in the world's eye for observation and criticism? Brandon, you can go first. How did it feel?
It's wild, I never really I didn't know that there was so many like reality TV fanatics out there. And when I tell you these opinions are, it's like they're all over the place. So it's like, but I love them all though. At first I was just like really like I read the comments for a week just to kind of see what they were saying. Then I stopped reading them, but then I started reading all of them again because I just feel like if like of course the good ones they kind of like hype you up a little bit and make you feel good, but then the bad ones, it's like you're like if you see me that way, maybe I need to really take a inventory of myself and really start reflecting. Like maybe that's something I need to look at and make a change. So I'm not mad at it. I feel like this experience has made me a better man, a better husband, a better everything overall. And so I wouldn't change anything.
Shout out to growth and shout out to that mirror. They put a mirror up in front of you. Huh? What about you? What about you, Russell?
Yeah, no, I would echo what B is saying. Just in terms of being inside of a glass box and having everybody peeking in with their 2 cent. Yeah, it was definitely challenging to start off. Like Brandon, I started off reading the comments. It was like, wow, like, oh, okay. Some people going in already. We in episode 1. Initially, I think Brandon would agree. Initially, it kind of has an impact on you. Like, what's this? What's going on? So I stopped reading the comments, and I realized that people will have their opinion regardless, but others' opinion didn't really matter to me as much as what my family, what my wife was saying, what my support system was saying. And if those things weren't aligned, then it was just small talk after that. So I can read I read the comments now if I have time. And yeah, some of it is real funny, very creative, very creative. But it's been good to see. It's been really good to see.
Well, that's great. That's great. And you brought up your wife, and I want to say, shout out to you, man. You actually got something done that most men can't do. You got your wife to say you was right. Yeah, that doesn't normally happen often. So I want to just I want to shake your hand,
Hey, man.
go ahead, throw it up. You did a thing. So I want to get into this men's movement. Y'all two being a part of this men's movement. And as I can see, y'all are here today together. So nobody wants to break no bones or nothing, right? We good on that. No bones need to be broken.
We're good. And I can address that. I think that in the moment I told B this on camera. That was raw. That was raw emotion. That was real. And part of it for me was, I was protecting, or I was feeling like my wife was attacked. And as a man, naturally, the very thing you're supposed to support, your job is to support. When you feel like you're not that, anything can happen, right? So I let them know, like, hey, man, yeah, if I wasn't safe, I think they might have cut that part out. But if I wasn't safe, it would have went down, and yeah, we were able to have that discussion and move past it. But yeah, no bones.
Brandon, how long were you in the gym for? Because I heard you was working out. You was trying to get ready. I know Russ, he got all the muscles and stuff. So wait, how long was you in the gym working out to get ready for this tussle?
Oh, I was in there. You know, when we did our premiere, I was ready for whatever. You know. But no, I mean, like the thing is, the one thing that the main thing that they did not show is that when we were in that skating rink, the guys were on the other side. Russell had just, lost a family member, a loved, a very close family member.
My
And so
grandma.
we were consoling Russell on the other side of the rink. And then they called us over there, like right in the middle of that. And so that was already a high emotion moment. And we went over to there. And so, in the pressure of the moment, I try to say something funny, but then like I instantly felt regret because I'm like, dang, like Russell's supposed to be going home grieving right now. But now he has to redirect all of that to now console Kobe and her frustrations in the moment. And so I just felt bad for my boy for even having him to, go through that. And so the next day I was just like, yo, whatever he got, wherever he got coming at my way, I'm gonna just eat. You know what I'm saying? And if he wanted to break every bone in my body, hopefully he would have started with the legs. Because if he ain't started with the legs, I think I might be a little faster than him. I would have just ran.
Oh, word, you fast?
Hey man, hey, saying that's a huge task. Hey, every episode I see him working out anywhere he can. So you faster than him, that's a big accomplishment. But I do want to say, shout out to y'all because most of the episodes I see y'all resolving things as men. Y'all have an issue. Y'all do come to a point of meeting and discussing, and that's big to see on TV, on the network as big as OWN. So shout out to you all. But can we get into this men's movement? How did this thing start? What is it? What's next? And how did this show help the men's movement, whatever the case may be?
Russell?
Yeah. So, so the men's movement, I believe it started. Actually, it started before the show actually premiered. I think Anthony was doing some work in the community around like voter registration, just pretty much partnering with different organizations, men specifically, to bring resources to men. So on the show, they show different aspects of it. But if you're speaking specifically to the event, I think we were the ultimate goal was to bring a bunch of guys to one space and be able to pour into each other. Things that both Brandon and I have been a part of for a long time. I think there's a lot of missing pieces in terms of planning, in terms of the weather. They didn't show that it was a typhoon. Well, I think they did show it was a typhoon outside. You know how we do.
Yeah,
Anytime it's raining, you may as well just count me out. So yeah, I think that that they couldn't show the stuff that happened before the cameras are here, but they were only able to capture just a glimpse of what some of the stuff he was doing.
Sweet. All right. So moving on to getting a little more personal. I see that Brandon, how was therapy with your mom? That was very big to see. Opening up that relationship. Most people appreciate and want a close relationship with a parent, but don't take that big step and that big leap. So how was that? And is that still going
on? It was it was terrifying, like I said on the show, because me and my mother have never really communicated. We've never had like a real conversation about anything that's beyond a surface level. So I was like, not I was terrified of doing it. And then, once I did it, it felt good. It felt good, even though, like my mother's responses weren't like these overwhelmingly loving responses, but that's just how she is. And so it just felt good to just kind of hear her point of view on things. And I know for her, her generation, number one, like when her and my father got married, like that still was a little taboo, the interracial thing back then. So for her to have to move to Detroit from Saginaw was real tough for her. And then like just I just feel like it was a challenge for her trying to raise Black boys, because it was two of us. And so, but I know that my mother loved me. And so it just was not verbalized. And I didn't realize that as a child that it would impact me later. So no, we didn't continue to do therapy, but I started doing therapy. And so, I'm a little further along in my journey or whatever. So I can kind of, help carry that torch with my mother. It's still a struggle because, she's in her late 70s. And so I just feel like, I don't see her trying to do all this transformative work, but, it definitely made us, it sparked something, and we're still trying to grow that.
That's what's up, man. Shout out to that, because I don't think parents or grandparents of that age even know how to spell therapy, because they're so weirded out about it. I tried to get my dad to do it. It's not a thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
And moving on to you, Russell, you got your wife to agree to counseling. So
Yeah.
has that journey started? All right, what are you looking forward to getting out of that journey?
Yeah. So we agreed to counseling. Have we started counseling yet? Nah. As y'all know, if you're in therapy or if you're in counseling, you got to be very selective as to who you pick to be able to moderate some of these types of conversations and situations. So we've been talking to folks, getting recommendations, having conversations, but we haven't started yet. But we are excited about it. I know that we're hopefully going to land on someone soon and get the ball rolling. I think for us, though, we've been able to realize we need to have more of these conversations just in general amongst ourselves and not really just hold stuff in. So we've been definitely communicating way more, which has been real good. As y'all know, that's my wife's word, communicate. But yeah, we're getting better.
Yeah, man. I seen you had to enunciate communicate tour on the episode. I said, oh yeah. So what do you think the issue is? Because the thing is, you making decisions don't involve the wifey. It's kind of like, I know that's a man thing. Do you know what kind of goes off your head, or why it slips to kind of get that involvement, or like what is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I mean, when you just out here getting it, you out here going. You don't think to make a phone call and ask for an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like when you out here getting deals done, you talking to folks, you out here actually making a living, making money. My second thought isn't to, oh, I probably should update my wife, So and then you got to think about it too. Like we've been married for 4 years. During the show was year 3. So we were new into this. We had dated for 2 years before, but prior to her, I was a bachelor. I dated here and there, but I was a bachelor, never having to check in, never had none of that. So it's like habits that's been practiced for years, maybe a decade, that needed to be broken and spent some attention on. So that's what's taking so long. It just takes time.
Shout out to that. Shout out to the lady for providing you the grace to build that muscle, though, because a lot of people don't understand when you have been operating a certain way. Just because somebody says something doesn't mean it's just going a light switch is going to come on. So shout out to Kobe for giving you that grace and stuff like that, and letting you get your arms touched on vacation. But Brandon, man, how did you handle Lyrique just showing up like that? I didn't want to just drastically move to that, but I seen that. I said, "Oh, Houston, we got a problem." What was that? You having a successful showcase, and damn near felt like your arch nemesis came through the door. And how was that feeling? Like, I thought the event was going to be over, to be honest. But
if I was on this show to like be an actor, I probably would have acted a little more. But in reality, I never really saw him as a threat. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like not as a threat to my business, not as a threat to my marriage or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so I just was like, okay, I I know Anthony's part of this showcase. I know Lyrique is gonna be here. So he can come on in here and do whatever he does because that's a real thing. Like it's the real thing. Multiple clients have came to me and be like, yeah, like Rick told me he could do better than you could. And I'm just like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna keep my distance from dude. Even though him and Christina, they used to make music together back in the day. And he did have a thing for her. You know what I'm saying? But like my wife is a lot of things, but the one thing I know for sure my wife is never going to do is step out, and not she's not going to entertain nothing, you know what I'm saying? So I have a 1,000% trust in my wife. So that is just what really wasn't a threat. I saw him, I kind of like chuckled inside, and then I just start focused back on the showcase, you know what I'm saying? But
Sweet.
if I was acting, I probably would have been like, hey dog, you know what I'm saying? You need to get out of here. But it what I didn't care.
Sweet. So, Brandon, because it was you had some issues with secret artists, female artists you're working with. Is there any more is there any more secret artists that females that Christina might have a problem with, or I see her helping you out with Naja. So shout out to
Oh,
that.
here.
No, look.
I
No,
might ask, is sensitive subject? Should I
no, no,
not?
no, 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 no. It's
Okay,
just
my
the
bad.
last time I told Russell,
Oh, here.
it kind of came out on my 11-year anniversary. But um, so the thing is I'm probably always going to have situations like that because like nothing materialized with the Niger thing. Nothing. Like she kind of just didn't have like the full work ethic that I was looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it didn't really materialize into anything. But I saw her as a potential, star. And you kind of, when you do what I do, like I kind of meet all of them first. Like they all come to me first, and so I get the first dibs on all of them. So I just kind of like will try to snatch them up first. But if it turns into something, then I feel like let's bring it to my wife and let's see, what I'm saying? Like, what do you think, we could do with this situation? But no, it's I don't have one now. But if I find somebody, I might just snatch it up, develop it, and then see if it turns into something. But if it becomes a situation where I have to devote a lot of time, then I'll let her know. But the Nigel situation, she doesn't even live in Detroit. She lives in Austin. So it
Mm.
wasn't a big time investment. You know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't a big deal to me. Um, it just, Christina didn't like it.
You
And
know what's normally not a big deal for us.
Thanks.
It doesn't usually pan out that way on the side. So, but shout out to you handling that situation properly. I did see the anniversary. I was a little saddened by that day would be turn out that way, but hopefully you got to get back. You know what I mean? Hopefully, and all that good stuff. So we got this.
man, look, that same anniversary, we ended that with a song that I wrote for her. You know what I'm saying? And they
Yeah.
didn't play it.
Mm.
So that was supposed to be like my hero moment, which didn't happen. And I was gonna launch my new business that night called Songs with Love, where me and my team we write personalized love songs for couples, loved ones, family members. That we'll you tell us your story, we'll write a song for you, and that song can live forever as a cherished gift. So I was a little disappointed that they cut my song out. So yeah, I'm back to the drawing board as to like how to properly launch this business, but I'm launching it soon.
Okay, sweet. So before we get up out of here, I want to ask a few more questions. So, Russ, can you just tell me a little bit more about SOAR Detroit? I
Yeah,
know it's focused on the literacy and sports and stuff like that. Can you just let the people know what SOAR is all about?
yeah. So Source started off as Eagle Sports in 1999 over on the east side of Detroit. We started off doing like soccer, baseball, and it really was an opportunity for us to bring folks together and work with young people. actually get kids in front of Jesus really was the main mission, right? Through sports. From that, the founder discovered that there was a disconnect between literacy and sports, and literacy just in the city in general. So, Sword Detroit started in 2005, 2005, and in 2005, it was right around 2008. The big thing happened in America, and then Detroit soon after came, and literacy was actually a big issue, and it still is a huge issue in the city. There's a lawsuit where students from Detroit sued the school district because they felt like they didn't do well preparing them for college, and so we came in and we offer students one-on-one personalized reading support, reading intervention to help them improve their reading proficiency. And on average, we can get students to grow 2 years in their reading proficiency in just 26 weeks of our program, that's a gap closer for us. We still do sports. We just concluded our baseball season. We had 52 baseball teams playing this summer in partnership with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And we got flag football coming up. We got soccer coming up. We had this winter. We had kids on the east side of Detroit playing ice hockey. So we're doing a lot of cool stuff. But literacy is our main focus.
Well, that's amazing work, brother. Shout out to that. Brandon, what's next for Star Factory?
Star Factory, I'm just gonna continue to develop these talents. Before 2020, I was basically just kind of like developing the artists and then kind of letting them fly and do their own thing and figure the rest out. But when the pandemic hit, I decided to create like a consulting wing of it, which is more like a management division. And so now I just have like tons of artists just kind of going through the entire process of, developing their talent first and then developing their brands and then, doing proper release schedules and marketing and promotion and getting their business credit together so that they can really give themselves a chance to monetize their fan base. So it's going really well. And I think the biggest misconception about what I do is like, I'm not really trying to be Barry Gordy for real. I'm trying to just develop the talents in my city. I have clients. I really have 99.9% clients, and maybe like every now and then I'll have an artist, but it's really like, it's just my job to like, people pay me to develop them as recording artists. So most of the newer aspiring artists come to Star Factory first. But now it's like, I want them to come to Star Factory and then, grow all the way through until they actually, have a monetized career. And we already have artists that are out here eating. So it's going real well.
That's amazing, especially here. It's the talent is going through the roof in Detroit. Between R&B, rap, you name it, it's a big spotlight. So even if you don't want to be the Barry Gordy, people still might call you that. So we got a big reunion coming. What can we expect of that? I didn't get my invite. I don't know who I had to email, who I had to call. I didn't get an invite. What can we expect from this reunion? I'm excited.
Yeah. I think similar to the season, you'll see a lot of real conversations. There's going to be some heated conversations for sure. And yeah, you'll see people putting some stuff out, laying it on the line, and hopefully we see something good coming from it.
So emotions might be a little high.
Oh, without a doubt.
Brandon, like you want to say something?
I mean, yeah, it was a lot of emotions. One of the dudes cried, and you may be surprised at who that might be. So yeah, I mean, it was very high emotion, and Carlos did not hold back on the questions.
Hey, Carlos does not play. Carlos does not play at all. Most definitely.
Carlos, every little question you might have had about this season, Carlos is going to ask it at this reunion. So all of your questions will be answered at this reunion for sure.
That's for sure.
All right. With that being said, before we get up out of here, our platform is representing Detroit. You all are representing Detroit. If you can, one by one, just give a message to Detroit. I know multiple cities are going to be watching this, but it's okay to be selfish a little bit. Russ, since you're right here, if you can just give a message to Detroit and we can get up out of here, and then Brandon too, and then we can part it.
Yeah, Detroit, we on. Let's go. It's our time. Let's go.
Detroit, we own. It's our time. That is a fact. Brandon, you got any words for Detroit?
Yeah, Detroit, I'm proud of y'all. When I'm born and raised here, and the mentality here when I was coming up was like a crab in a barrel type mentality, But now I see a lot of our generation, are locking arms and are really trying to come together and work. And I just feel like the generation ahead of us, I didn't feel that from them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like we are taking that upon ourselves to do that so that this next generation, will have that one up because if you can make it in Detroit, you can make it anywhere. But I'm trying to make it to where you should be able to make it in this city. You know what I'm saying? Because we have so many dope people. The culture here is crazy. And it's really just about this next generation, And so shout out to everything Russell's doing and Anthony's trying to do. And yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Did I? I just sensed a little bit of like, it's not a tree in my house, but I just felt a little bit like it's like a little, not a lampshade, but like a tree, like some shade, just a little bit. I don't know. Will we get more of that on the reunion? Maybe.
Of course. Of course. Brandon versus Anthony is a never ending saga.
It is a thing. He's most definitely a personality, and I can see how y'all two clash. But can you tell everybody where to follow you guys at, and then we get up out of here?
Yeah, Instagram, Russell L. Harris Jr. Yeah, that's really Facebook, same thing. It's really where I'm at.
Brandon Smith Inc. INC, and then Star Factory AD, A for artist, D for development.
All right, you hear it. You know who I am. I'm your favorite Uncle Spooty, the neighborhood supporter. This is Meet the Connect 313. Thank you guys for taking your time out to sit with me. I'll be looking forward to the reunion. If y'all have any access or any other events coming up, feel free just to, I wouldn't mind being there. Why not? You know what I'm saying? But thank you all for your time. Y'all have a great one. Can't wait to see the reunion, y'all.
Appreciate it.
Most definitely. Appreciate you.
Yeah.